Adventure Time fans, we are so back. The first ever picture of any season 2 of Fiona and Cake build-up has released. Now, this picture right here was from the Annecy Film Festival, which is actually really funny because I did a video a few months ago covering a lot of the new series that were discussed in this film festival, but this image was just never seen, I guess, and now it's all over social media. So of course, I wanted to talk about this because just from this one image alone, I have a lot of thoughts. Now, as you can see here, this is some promo art done by storyboard artist Charmaine Verhagen. And this is obviously a big deal. This is the first image we're actually seeing of season 2, and Charmaine did actually work on Adventure Time in the original series in the episode Wheels. And if you don't remember that episode immediately, it's from season 8, and it's the episode where Jake and Bronwyn have their whole skateboarding adventure. I thought that was a pretty fun episode, so seeing that they're working on this as well has me pretty excited. And it wasn't only storyboarded by her, as it says here, it was also written by her, which is pretty cool because obviously in animation, the board artists and the writers interact really intently to make sure the storyboard, action of the episode can tie in with the writing of the episode. So that makes a lot of sense. Now I'm just going to talk about the elephant in the room and the thing that has by far been getting the most traction out of this image, and that's that Huntress Wizard is one of the key characters shown in this artwork. Huntress Wizard is a fan favorite character, starting as this very minor design that then became a very prominent character in the series during the latter seasons. Huntress Wizard is a cool character. That's not to shade Huntress Wizard fans, but I do definitely think she's a character that could use a lot of development going on in the future. So having her be seemingly a prominent character in this story has me honestly really excited. I thought she was really cool, especially in season 10 with her bonding with Finn, and we obviously know she's still important to Finn in some way because of the way he talked about her in season 1. I think there's a lot of potential here for her to be a cool character that gets a lot of development in the future. As we see in the background of this image, which shows Fiona, Cake, and Huntress Wizard seemingly in the heart of the forest, which was from the second episode of season 1, and Huntress Wizard herself told Finn about this place and how dangerous it was and how scary it was. So the setting also can provide a lot of really cool stuff. But now let's get into the plot. If the heart of the forest is meant to be a key plot location in this season, I think there's a lot of stuff that can happen there. Obviously, we saw in season 1, Simon did not mess with this place at all. So unfortunately for us Simon fans, I am a bit worried that he's not going to be nearly as prominent of a character as he was in season 1. Because Simon had a lot of really great development in season 1, and a lot of the stuff with his arc is going to be moving on from all the stuff he had in the past. So if we don't see him, honestly, I wouldn't mind it too much because it goes to show that he is off doing his own thing. He's being independent. I do hope we see him, obviously. He was one of my favorite characters in the entire series, so I would like to see him more. But if he's not there, I get it. The plot progression of his character doesn't denote him to be in the story, so him doing his own thing, that's cool. Now, I do have my fingers crossed, obviously, for PB and Marceline, because if we're in OO, we're hopefully going to see these characters at least a little bit more. Please, I am fiending. Any scrap of anything would just be amazing. Because seeing alternate universe versions of them was really cool. Like, I absolutely loved it, but I just want to see more of them. And this goes into what I think the plot could actually be about in season 2, finding Finn. Now, a lot of people obviously wanted Fiona to meet Finn really badly in season 1, and I think this could be the plot direction for season 2, because Finn in season 1 obviously led Simon into the heart of the forest. If Finn somehow walked into there blindfolded again and then got lost, I think that would be a really funny way to try and find him in the story. But with Huntress Wizard actually being knowledgeable about the heart of the forest, she could lead Fiona and Cake to there directly herself. I think that would be a pretty fun way to have Finn and Fiona meet up for the first time. Obviously, it's the heart of the forest, which means it has to have some deep connection to the world of OO itself. Like, oh, this is where the bomb went off that caused the entire reaction. I think that would be a bit extreme because we've seen a lot of locations where things have been completely devastated by the mushroom bomb, and obviously there's that big old hole in the earth, so that's probably where it landed. But honestly, if it is that, I think it could be really cool and really interesting now that the Lich is completely gone. Seeing that the effects of the bomb can outlast characters like the Lich, who was literally created from the bomb, would be really interesting and kind of really cool. That shows that after this horrible, devastating force in the world, something beautiful and new can be created. It's not necessarily impossible because we do see a lot of crazy stuff in the heart of the forest, like that crazy fish creature and of course that bear creature that gnarled up Finn's back and did leave like a greenish hue on his back, which could be like poison, but obviously green is a color heavily associated with the Lich and the nuclear devastation that was caused that made a lot of things in Ooo as grotesque as they were. So maybe there is a kind of connection there. I think that could be pretty cool if that is the direction they go for. That's obviously pure speculation on my part there. This is more so focused on Finn being a major goal to strive for in this season. And this would sort of mirror season 1, with Simon's main goal being finding Betty. Huntress Wizard's main goal could be finding Finn. That could be a fun way to not only tie in that fan favorite, longing for Fiona and Finn to meet up and have some fun interactions, since we saw a glimpse of that with Farmworld Finn in season 1. It would just be a great way to get Fiona and Cake back into the action of the story, with them being in their own happy little universe doing some seemingly more low-key stuff, them being able to travel to Ooo, a place we all know so much more and have a lot of characters we're a lot more invested in, would be a great way to continue their plot line and of course search the world that we know so much and see how they react to all the crazy stuff that we're kind of accustomed to. And on the topic of Ooo being the primary location of this story, that obviously adds a lot of potential for how the story can develop going forward. If we're seeing Huntress Wizard as a main character in this season, who was a character that didn't really get too much development, I do think it would be really cool to see other characters who were kind of given the short end of the stick in comparison to a lot of our major players in the story. One in particular I think would be really cool would be Flame Princess. We obviously know Fiona has the connection with DJ Flame, so having Flame Princess be a major character in this season would also be pretty cool to me. She's a character that I think deserves a lot more praise in the story, with her being a very prominent character and then kind of falling off after the whole romance angle. Seeing her do her own thing, or possibly seeing what the Fire Kingdom is up to contrast the forest location, would be pretty cool to me. And we've seen Fiona and Cake explore Human Town, and seeing more of that kind of stuff would be really cool, since she's obviously a more modern day human compared to these weird futuristic humans that are living in Ooo at the moment. Seeing them kind of have a whole moment where they explore that place, possibly reuniting with Astrid from season 1, who is a character I personally thought would have gotten a lot more shine in the story because of how prominent she was in the beginning, would be nice as well. Especially with her being such a fangirl of Fiona, it would be nice to have her have a sort of mentor dynamic with her, like how Simon was with her. But most importantly, I am very excited to see what they do with Huntress Wizard being a major character in the story, because of this Heart of the Forest angle, the angle you could go with Finn, and most importantly to me, she's a wizard. The connection with Simon being a past wizard and Huntress Wizard could lead to a lot of crazy developments, because wizards are typically really sad and depressing characters, but Huntress Wizard is kind of the opposite of that. She's very low-key and chill. She's a bit unhinged, to be honest. Giving an elk heart as a present was kind of crazy. Delving into her psyche possibly, with her being a wizard, would be really cool. And if the Heart of the Forest is meant to be as menacing and imposing as it seemed in the beginning episodes, I can assure you chaos and untamed wild nature is surely going to lead to some crazy revelations. I am happy for the Huntress Wizard fans. I think she is really cool, and I'm excited to see what they do with her moving forward. Fingers crossed she gets a lot more development, because Fiona, Cake, and many of the characters from their world shined so brightly in season 1. It was kind of crazy how Fiona and Cake became characters I was like, they're chill, to characters I'm like, no, these are genuinely really well written characters that I am invested in. Huntress Wizard becoming a more prominent character in this season is also really interesting, because in episode 1 of season 1, Fiona meets Hunter, Huntress Wizard's equivalent, but in Fiona's world. So maybe there's even a possibility that Hunter could go missing as well, or Hunter is absent for some reason, leading to this connection with Huntress Wizard that Fiona develops. And of course, Hunter and Fiona had that whole dandelion scene where she was seemingly in her own heart of the forest where the weeds were able to grow, because the dandelion theme was so insanely important when it comes to the entirety of season 1. If that's further connecting into season 2, I'd be pretty excited. Huntress Wizard and Hunter obviously being based on the same person could further add to the connection with Fiona and Finn meeting as the plotline for season 2. And if eventually, like I'm speculating, Fiona and Finn do meet up, how is Cake gonna react with Jake not being alive anymore? I think that would be pretty crazy, but I think it could be pretty funny because Cake doesn't like dogs like that. If they are exploring Ooo for the first time as a newcomer, it could also give us the opportunity to see some places in Ooo that we've never seen in the show. One of the most prominent artists on Adventure Time, Steve Wolfhard, made this really crazy comic about Jake dying and stretching beyond the limits of his own body, eventually being put into that massive crater in the world of Ooo, and then literally becoming the new continent. If we somehow end up going to the Jake continent, I think that would be crazy and a really cool way to canonize this comic that has been floating around the fandom forever. And if this season is seemingly focusing on some fan elements that people have wanted to see for such a long time, like Huntress Wizard, like Fiona and Finn meeting up, possibly this comic could definitely become a reality in the future. Getting even a glimpse of season 2 has me immensely excited, as you can tell. This one picture got me talking for like such a long amount of time. I feel like I'm hyper analyzing every single pixel of this, but regardless, I think it's gonna be great. Season 1 was amazing and I love the show to death, so I am certain that season 2 is gonna be good. But that's enough speculation from me. What do you all think of this? Let me know down below, because obviously I could ramble about this forever. I'm super excited for season 2, and just this little crumb of an image has already got my brain going like a mile a minute with all these cool ideas. And if you want more Adventure Time stuff, since season 2 is definitively coming and we're probably going to get a lot more rollout info for it, please consider subscribing to the channel. It would mean a lot. Take care and have a good one.